Discontinued
Gravy.
gravy.
Even
Discontinued gravy.
Gold, simplify life and make it fun.
Because we've been there.
I mean, we're in our mid-20s.
So we've seen it all.
This is
Discontinued.
Gravy.
Woo!
We did it.
Yeah, we did it. We did it good this time.
Yeah, oh my God. That was...
I know
actually
that was
funny.
2 weeks ago, but still.
So, funny story, quickly. There's a grand scheme to this whole episode that's going to happen, but this is kind of a part of it. So, I actually heard that episode because somebody else was like, oh, you have a podcast. Clicked on, because that was the most recent episode at the time. And I heard it, and I'm like, what the fuck happened here? Like, I thought, like, the audio was glitching. I'm like, oh, no. And I'm like, right.
Right, it's this episode.
It's that one. And everyone was looking at me like, the fuck is wrong with your podcast? And I was like, it was funny! But anyway, that happened.
Authentic.
It was... And people were like, what happened? I'm like, I say it, and I'm like, wait for it. I'm like, yeah, I got something in my nose. I'm like, yeah, I had something in my nose. You can hear the sniffle!
Yeah.
Anyway.
Hey, we try to keep this podcast authentic as possible for people.
There's zero editing involved. This is everything that's said on this podcast, unless something goes wrong, is here. Like, we don't edit out things. Yeah,
that's why sometimes when I say, Nick, can you please take that out? That's still left in.
Yep. A lot of the times. It's left in. Anyway.
Content just for you, baby.
Just for you. Krista, how you doing?
Nick, I'm feeling good. I missed you.
Yeah, because we recorded really early last week. And now we're later in the week this week, so it's been a little longer than we usually are.
Yeah, like, I know that we took a little bit of a hiatus there, but just, like, taking kind of, like, almost a full week in preparation just feels like such a break. And do you know what's something cute? So I was camping I'm not sure if it was Cultus Lake or what. And I know we talked about Cultus Lake, but I haven't texted you since because we've been Snapchatting.
Right.
And I have a message typed out to you. And it's so cute.
What is it?
It's okay, I started to delete it so I don't have all of it here anymore, but it's here. Basically what I'm saying is that, Nick, right now I'm at the campsite with my parents and I went in my tent and my dad and Spencer and Carson, they're just sitting around the fire talking about our podcast. And I'm just like, wow, this is so surreal.
Wow.
I must have just been so happy that, like, people were talking about our podcast.
It's
like,
nice to hear.
Honestly, like, my family could have been shit-talking it.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
Yeah.
They have every right to. Like, I talk shit about them on this podcast.
Yeah.
Right?
No,
like,
definitely my sister has talked shit about this podcast once or twice.
Right? And you know what? Fair enough. Family gets to do that.
Yeah, they can do whatever they want.
Right?
You, on the other hand.
No.
You viewer, listener, not allowed.
Not allowed. You're choosing to listen to this.
Only good vibes are here. Krista, how are you?
Yeah, well, I said it was good, but
You said you were good, but then you went to the past tense. But what's Krista like in the present tense?
Oh, I'm great. I am looking forward to this weekend coming up. I'm going to Brewholla, which is a beer festival in Port Moody. I felt like I had to go because it's literally down the street from me. Yeah. It has 15 breweries, 10 food trucks,
wow.
8 live bands.
Wow.
It's going to be a good time. I think I mentioned before that I wanted to go to the Blues Root Festival that had War on Drugs playing.
Yes.
Couldn't get tickets for that, so we're doing this instead. So still super stoked.
Pretty good alternative, I'd say.
Right? Like a couple drinks. I'm going to be a happy little clam.
You sound like it.
Yeah, okay. So Nick, tell me how you are. Because I feel like our listeners have slowly been listening to the decrease of how you've been feeling. It's like, yeah, great, stay amazing. Yeah, stay amazing. And then it just kept going down, and then you perked up a little bit.
Like I'm perking up right now?
Yeah, but our last episode you perked up a little bit.
Okay, yeah. No, yeah. Okay, so I guess bottom line, and I don't know how many people actually know this because I've told literally nobody. No, not been great. Haven't been great for months. I'll be honest.
Mm-hmm.
It's been tough. Just being me, being busy, not in a career I want to be in. You know?
Yeah, not being fulfilled.
Yeah, it's life. It's sucked the last few months. We had a lot of rain. It just hasn't been great. Not that it's been bad. Like, I got lots of great friends. I've been doing lots of cool things, but it doesn't always fulfill everything. But yeah, no. So finally, it was kind of getting some excitement. I was able to go away to the place that I've been going to since I was 6 months old. I've been going virtually every year since. Obviously, the last couple of years, no, because it is in the United States. And they had their borders locked for like 2 years, so I couldn't get in. So been missing that for a while, but finally got to go back this year and then last week. And oh boy, do I ever need something like that? It's the bee's knees, Krysta. It's just the bee's knees.
Hey, did you know the bee's knees is a drink?
I'm not surprised in the slightest that it's a drink.
Yeah, it has honey. I'll make it for you one day, and you can have one sip and spit it out.
It doesn't sound appealing to me at all.
Fair enough.
But, yeah, I mean, the nice thing about this place is that, well, A, you're in America, so obviously if you're Canadian, you have to pay extra if you want to use your phone. So that's plus, but usually a lot of us just use the Wi-Fi when we're in America or somewhere else.
Okay, no, Nick, I think you need to clarify. You said, so it's a plus, we have to pay more because I'm Canadian.
Yes, yeah. No, we have to pay like whatever, $7, $8, $9 a day.
Yeah, so it's like a plus being able to use Wi-Fi or be off your phone.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But there's no Wi-Fi at the place. Not that you can't go and get it, but you could just choose to stay off the grid. And I chose to stay off the grid for an entire week. And I know that sounds really daunting to a lot of people to, have zero online presence for an entire week. And I'm thinking in certain situations it would be really tough. Like if I tried to do that here at home, it's impossible. Like, it's just impossible.
I just mean, like, in today's world with, like, how you need to be accessible for work, friends. Like, if they didn't hear from you for, like, 48 hours, for, like, if they're trying to constantly contact you, you're a missing person at that point.
Yeah. MIA. But, yeah. Where I was, there's lots of people there, like lots of family, lots of friends that I've had for years now. So you're not like disassociated with the world. It's not like you're alone. You're with people. So that makes it a lot easier to be off the grid. But I mean, you're right. To people who, so I just I think you saw it, but like on Instagram, I mentioned I was just like, I'm going off the grid for a week, just so people knew, and they're not messaging me being like, did he die? Like, I only had one friend that didn't see it, and I didn't text. And they're like, are you okay?
Oh, no. They actually asked if you were okay.
Yeah, I got a text being like, you okay? And I replied days later, I guess. And I'm like, fine, what's up? They're like, oh, good, you're alive. I'm like, well, yeah.
Yeah, whereas if someone was texting you, they'd be like, hey, like, I know you're not going to see this for a while, but blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, I texted a couple people who I know, who I usually text and may not see my Instagram, so I'm like, okay, I'll get those two out of the way. Yeah. No, I had the best week, man. Like, that week was so nice, so refreshing. We'll see how long this vibe lasts, coming back to reality, but I'm feeling pretty freaking good, Krysta.
Yeah, and do you know what's great about doing something like that? It's either gonna set you back so you can get through to your next vacation, or it's either gonna, like, snap you into being like, nah. next level, baby.
Yeah.
You know,
Well,
like it's gonna either give you momentum. It gives you momentum either way. Momentum to finish what you're doing, or momentum to do something else.
Well, my next trip is in September, so.
Hey, that's not too long to wait.
No, it's coming up real fast. But yeah, no, it was refreshing. It was really nice. It was really nice to go and do that thing and see all those people.
Yeah. Do you know what's funny? So I used to go down to the States to a lake every summer. So kind of similar experience, going off the grid. It didn't really matter when we were younger because, you know, like, you don't really get into texting and stuff until high school. And then even then, it's not until, like, grade 10 that you actually, like, need to keep up to date. And then that's when, like, social media, you know, Instagram.
Yep.
And all that starts to come into play.
For sure.
So my sister and I, we would go for, like, a month. We didn't use our phones. Because one time my sister did use her phone because she was texting a boy.
Oof.
$900 later.
Holy shit, really?
Yeah, and it was just texting. No calls, no like data.
Fuck.
Right? But luckily, like when you're under 18 or something, you're under your parents' phone plan, basically you can be like F off phone companies, like they're minors, they don't know what they're doing.
Yeah.
Right? Like, yeah, it's a contract, but like they're not paying that much. Like, I think in the end we only had to pay like $200.
Yeah. Plus, I mean, it's gotten easier now with everything, but yeah.
Yeah, now you have roaming and all those other things. It's just back then it was a little bit more pricey.
Yes, for sure.
But my sister and I would go, and this was like, okay, this is like maybe first year university. So we're really texting. You're like needing to be in the know. Debating if we should even go to the lake that summer. Because it's like, you know, like there's like grad parties or whatnot happening, right?
Oh, for sure.
Right? So like not sure if we're going to go. We end up going because, you know, like it's, you know, we're the Vanderhelms.
Yeah.
We're going to do it.
Yeah.
And we're like, okay, turn on our phones when we cross the border.
Yeah.
Not one message. A month passed.
A month?
A month. Not one message.
Bro, wow.
I know! But to make us feel a little better, people did post on Instagram, and it was kind of like, we couldn't make it to one of the parties, so they're like, if only the Vanderhelms were here, and they pretended to be like twins and stuff.
Right.
Like, and we're like, yeah, you wish you could be us. You wish you could be a Vanderhelm.
Kind of little thing, yeah.
Right. So, like, it made us feel a bit better, but, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, no, God, that was annoying when I got back. My phone was vibrating for like 2 minutes.
Oh, way to brag.
Well, to be fair, only about 6 of those notifications were actual texts.
Okay.
The rest were like ESPN notifications and this notification and 17 emails and this and that.
Yeah, or memes being sent to you.
The garbage I don't care about. But
hey, we care about memes.
Yeah, I got those. Didn't get any Instagram notifications, but I had 12 messages on Instagram, so weird. But anyway, yeah, no, it's really fun. Where was that lake?
So it's funny because I know that it's close to your camp, or at least not close, but I feel like if you go to certain areas in Bellingham, you're kind of more aware to other areas. So the lake is located in Cedar Woolley. So pretty close. It's not in the 7 lakes further down.
Right.
Where, like, Tualaip and stuff. That's, like, where the real 7 lakes are. So Cedar Woolley is kind of like the center. And I know that your camp happens, you have to go on a ferry. Mm-hmm. But I've been to the place where the ferry takes off.
Right. Oh, you're there.
Yeah. I don't want to say the lake name just because I'm protected of it to this day because I do not want it to get overpopulated.
Fair. But I know, I know exactly where you are because the turnoff is like right around that road to get to that ferry.
Yeah, I know.
Wow. That's weird. Yeah. So. Okay.
Yeah.
So
like
you
pretty close.
Yeah. You pretty much, yeah, you know where, okay. So
yeah, so I need to know, have you been to Deception Pass? It's
I
further
have never,
down.
no, I know where Deception Pass is, but I've never actually gone to it myself.
Nick, we need to do a Discontinued Gravy podcast episode where we go to Coopsville and we do Deception's Pass, all of that in a day. It'd be a long day. But we could do it.
Well, we could do a little longer and go all the way to that place that I go to as well.
Hey!
Make a whole thing. I think you'd actually really enjoy it.
Yeah, we could do like a mini Olympic peninsula. Woo!
There you go. Yeah.
Because we're not going all the way down to Oregon, but you know.
No, that's too far. But yeah. So you know where Anacortes is? Yes.
Yes, they have good saltwater taffy. That is my only understanding.
Interesting.
It's my one memory of going there.
Fair.
Right? Like, we went there. There happened to be a shop. We, for some reason, picked out saltwater taffy.
Yeah.
And that's all I got for you.
No, fair enough. I mean, like, so when in Anacortes, you can take the ferries that go through the San Juan Islands, or you can even go right to Victoria, BC.
Yeah, it's weird to think about it that way.
There is a route that can take you there, but we usually go Anacortes. We go to Orcas Island, which is the one that kind of looks like a horseshoe. And if you're watching the video portion of this, there's a shirt right over there that I'm looking at it now that does not have the Orcas logo on it, but it has the logo of the place I go to.
Do you know what's funny? I thought for the longest time, when you said that you went to a camp, I only know one other camp in the States around that area. It's a little further down, but you have to get into a ferry to get to it. It's called Seebeck. So I just assumed that's where you were going, and then eventually I figured out it was not that camp.
No, and I think it's a really hard thing to explain. We're gonna try. But yeah, no, it's on Orcas Island. It's a place called Indralaya. Yeah, it's not your typical camp. Like you know, I say camp just to put a fine. Here's an umbrella term of what I'll be doing. Like, not in a hotel. I'm not doing an Airbnb. It's camping, but it's bigger than that. Like, there are cabins and a dining hall, and basically it's how do I describe this? It's like a program-based camp.
Okay, that's a good way to describe it.
Does that make sense? Like, it offers a bunch of different programs, and if you're, I guess I'll get this right out there. There's some sort of religion towards it, but it's not it's not religion.
It's spiritual.
Yeah, it's called Theosophy, which is a thing, and the best way I can describe Theosophy is that it's finding the truth in everything. It's not like saying there's no God or there is a God. It's more like there could be a God. Let's find the proof. Like it's finding the belief in things. But I'm the worst person to ask about that.
So if you're put in charge of recruitment, you're gonna be the guy that makes it sound like a cult.
Yeah. See, that's the thing. You would hear about it and you'd be like, "Oh, this is a cult." I'm like, "No, it's not."
That's the one that's in a cult would say.
Yeah, exactly.
But most like program-based camps do have a spiritual or religion aspect to it because they just tend to have stronger community ties.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like this is a community.
Yes.
For sure. And but like some of the some of the things you can do. So a lot of them are called work parties, which basically you go and you help the camp do things like fix up a thing. Like we built cabins there before, clean up trails, work in the garden, work type of stuff. But a lot of them are like grief retreat, apparently. Therapeutic touch. If you don't know what that is, that's a thing that plenty of nurses actually use. My sister uses it. Yoga. That's fun.
Did you do yoga?
I've done the yoga one before, yes.
Cool.
A few years ago. That's fun.
Oh, wait. So you have to pick, like, one theme? You
So,
can't
yeah,
do
they're-
all of them?
No, they're like week based. Like, say, like, oh, I wanted to go to Therapeutic Touch Foundations. That's June 11th to June 15th.
Oh.
Like the one I go to, which is called Connections, is July 27th to August 3rd. Like, these are programs set to a week. Then you don't just show up and there's yoga today. No. But yeah, like the you mentioned like spirituality, and the one that I go to, Connections, there's an element to that. So it's a work party, but with a discussion. So we usually I am having a hard time explaining this. Let's start, Krysta, if you're okay with this. Explain, like, we'll do like a day in the life of what happens there.
Okay, so I am a new recruit, and you're bringing me along on your day.
Right. Okay. So let's start the day. It's 8 a.m. Or you know what? Let's start even earlier than that.
Oh,
7
God.
a.m.
I already don't like this.
So it's 7 a.m. They ring a bell. Although I swear they weren't ringing it at 7 a.m. this year. That's kind of like a wake up. There are things about to be happening because there's a meditation in the morning at 7:25. You will not catch me there. It's too early. At the end of the day, it's still a vacation in some senses for Nick. 8 o'clock, that is when you need to be up because that's when breakfast starts. And it's not like you go find the cereal and pour it. Somebody makes you breakfast.
Nice.
you eat it.
Pancakes.
We did have pancakes twice. I was excited. So yeah, they make you breakfast. There's a breakfast team that does that. So you have breakfast, 8 o'clock. Then about 9:15, you're gonna circle up. There's a little circle that we all hang out. But that's kind of more of like, you do like a little meditation to get you ready for the day, but also kind of like what's on tap for today. You know, like, this project needs more help, or maybe that we can start this project, or, you know, stuff like that. It's kind of like news and notes. So then at 9:30, the workday begins. From 9:30 to 10:15, 30-ish, so 45 to an hour. You work on whatever the project is that you're working on. Like, for me, example, this week I was working on a outdoor shower.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That'd be nice to use.
Oh, you have not lived until you've had an outdoor shower. So our old one had to be taken down. It was old.
To say the least.
It was not good. But and then we're in the process of building a fancy new one. But there's a huge stall on the project with an issue that's not our fault. So anyway, so we're building this one. So you do that for an hour, and then at 10:30 is the discussion, which there's usually like a theme in the discussion. I'll tell you, I went all week, and I still really have no idea what we were talking about this week.
So, Nick, you didn't do any reflecting during this time?
I had input, but it was like they were kind of talking about like what philosophers were saying. Do you agree with this, or do you agree with that? You know what I mean? Like, that philosopher is crazy because he thinks life, you know, like life ends in this or something like that. Like, you know, like you're just kind of like, no. But you can get on to like topics. Like we got onto topics about, you know, like the racism that's in our world now, or, you know, this or that. You know, like it got into broader issues, but still kind of focused on that. Like. Anyway, I can't really can't.
So when you have this discussions, it's a safe space, right?
Totally, you can say whatever you want. I mean, pretty sure somebody got really offended this time and actually left.
Oh, wow.
But that doesn't usually happen. Like, they can get semi-heated. Like, sometimes they get a little political. Like, Trump was brought up a few times as, like, an extreme example. And, you know, if there's somebody that's a stupid Republican, well...
Yeah.
You know, like a little kooky Republican. I'm not saying all Republicans are stupid, but there are a couple kooky ones. So, that might happen. But at the end of the day, you can say what you want, and nobody's gonna judge you for it. They might look at you weirdly, but
yeah.
not gonna ask
At the
you to
end of
go
the day,
home.
you're gonna have dinner all together.
They're still exactly. You're still gonna be cool. So so that discussion happens. I contributed a couple things. Don't know how, if they worked, but they did. Then that goes till 12:30. 12:30 lunchtime, which is always good. Then from 1:30 till 3:30 is the continuation of workday. 3:30 ends, and you have free time until 6:30, and there's a bunch of things you can do. There's 2 beaches on the property.
Hey, we like a good beach.
There's Near East and Far East Beach. There's some points to look at the water, like Madrona Point, Inspiration Point. Those are points. Let me tell you, you haven't seen it until you've seen it. Well, there's lots of things to do too. Like there's a ping pong table, or just vibing in the meadow. There's lots of things you can do.
Yeah, and most of these people that go, you've known your whole life, right? Like they continue to go every year. So these are friends that you get to catch up with on a yearly basis.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, right? Like, there were about, I think, 60-ish people there that year, or this year. And I knew every single one of them except one.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Like these are people that have been coming for years. Like I've seen people grow up, kind of thing. You know what I mean? So that happens. But there's you're not staying at the camp the whole time. There's Cascade Lake. There's Mount Constitution. There's lots of things you can do. You can go to East Sound, going to town. Then you're back by 6:30 for dinner time. Then 6 o'clock dinner time. Then 7 o'clock, volleyball. You know how much Nick loves his volleyball.
Nick's been training for this moment.
Well, it happens before I started that beach volleyball thing, I got volleyball once a year. Like at this camp. Once a week. For 1 week, I got it all week, and that was it. And I decided I want more. So then the volleyball ends, and then you go to Campfire, which is always fun. We have some, there are some performers that usually come, like Brian on the violin. My dad plays the guitar. I'm the MC for the evening.
Hey, and you've done on MCing now, so
Oh, I've been doing that MCing for about, feels like 10 years now.
Didn't tell me you had experience.
Yeah, but the Campfire MC was literally what I'm known for there is giving dad jokes. In between the acts, I'd walk up and give a dad joke and then walk back and tell who's next.
Hey, I mean, if it works, it works. It must have been really nice this year, though, because you actually got to have a campfire. I bet you some years, August long, you don't get to have campfires.
There's been a couple years, there's been a burn ban, where it's just been kind of shit out of luck kind of thing. But for the most part, we've been okay. This year, there was it couldn't be more than 3 feet wide and 3 feet long kind of thing. It had to be under that number. But they didn't say how high. But so that was good. And then after that, it's just kind of free time. This one was weird though, because COVID is still a thing, guys. We're not completely out of it yet. We're okay, but it's still going to happen. And unfortunately, the week prior to our camp, there was an outbreak. 6 people got it, or maybe more at the end. But they had to cut it short. That was family week, which is a lot of kids and a lot of kid-friendly activities. So they had to cut that one short. So they're like, okay, we need to be careful here. And so we had to test every 2 days, I think, which, by the way, was the first time I had tested the entire time. I took my first test for COVID-19 last Wednesday.
Was it a rapid test?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So, Nick, when you said you had COVID, you didn't actually get tested. You were just like, I'm pretty sure.
Well, I called 811, and they were like, it sounds like you have it, but you probably shouldn't go get tested.
Right. You got COVID kind of when it was still a big deal.
Yeah, they were just like I don't think, don't bother. If it gets severely worse, yeah, maybe go get it. But it sounds like you probably just have it. Just chill.
Just stay home.
The test isn't going to change anything.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we had to test. Unfortunately, a couple positives. And one of them was to somebody I was really excited to see again, and I was like, damn it. She's fine though. She's fine. But yeah, so usually like after the campfire, like there's a lot like some people leave out snacks and you can play like cards or board games and stuff like that. But
Let's be honest, that's when all the cool kids stay out.
oh baby, is it ever. But this year we weren't allowed to be in the dining hall like at all. So we were eating outside, and we had to do our things outside. They set out this nice little area that had like, you know, those like string lights. It was real. Like I'll show you the picture. It was actually lovely, but it does get kind of cold. But yeah, we were out there playing cards and everything. And the end of the night, if you're like me and doesn't want a cabin, you can either sleep in a tent, or you can, you know, just sleep out in the meadow, which I did, sleeping under the stars every night.
Cute.
You have not seen the stars until you've been there. You can see the Milky Way. You can see the curvature of the world.
Cute, yes. So me, Michaela, and Cassidy, every summer we would do one night where we would sleep in the boat with the tarp off, just so we could like be outside and like see exactly the same thing, see the stars. Because whenever you're a city, like even if you're at Maple Ridge, you're still city, right? Yep. Like you're going to see a lot of stars, but for some reason, when you're by a lake in the middle of nowhere, beautiful.
Well, there's no light pollution, right? Like there's a little light pollution from East Sound, but it doesn't affect like the higher ones. I saw countless shooting stars. Oh, it's gorgeous.
Isn't it so cool to see a shooting star?
Oh, it's gorgeous. So that's amazing. And then you wake up and you do it all again. I love it.
And you do it for 28 years?
Yeah, about, yeah. But, you know, like, it's, I should mention, it's vegetarian. Actually, even vegan sometimes.
I mean, that's just easier for dietary restrictions, I guess.
Well, it's not that. The camp is built on, you know, no harm to animals, ahimsa, if you know what that means.
Wait, so is it also no drinking at the camp as well?
No drinking, no smoking, no animals, no nothing.
Do you know what I find funny? So the other camp that I know of, it's also like a no drinking, no smoking camp, and it's more religious based. But I know a few people who had their first hippie lettuce experience at those places because of the rules being so strict. So it's like one way or the other. Like I'm sure your camp's probably a bit different just with kind of the way that they approach it. But the other camps that are a bit stricter and a bit more like actual typical religion Christianity. They're always rebellious, eh?
Yeah. A little bit, right? Yeah, but no one's stopping you. Like I say, it's vegetarian. No one's stopping you to go down to the East Sound and go into the Island Market to get meat, or go to the tavern to have a beer. No one's stopping you, and no one's gonna judge you. Also,
it's only a week, you know. Like it's one of those things that, like, you know what? If everyone went like 1 week a month vegetarian, our pollution would probably be down a lot. People's health would probably be a lot better.
Yep, it easily could be. But yeah, like, it's so nice to do all those things. But like I say, like, I've been going there for many years, so like a lot of people I was seeing, like, I've known for a long time. But you know, some people don't come every year, and you know, I saw one of my friends, Olivia. I hadn't seen her since, I don't know, 8 years ago. Last time I saw her, she was like 12.
Oh my gosh, what a, like, you'd be like, hey, we're adults now.
Yeah, she's like, I'm 20 and I'm in university, and I just like, cause I like looked at her, I'm like, okay, I recognize her, but is that her? Cause I was actually really, well, I still am, but I haven't seen her in a while. Good friends with her sister, cause she's closer to my age. And but yeah, I was like, I saw her, I'm like, whoa, okay, hi. It's been a while. But yeah, it's so cool to see those people and do those things and see the people like come alive during the week. Like a week can be a long time. And something I just love seeing is like the people that in the beginning, you know, a bit of in their shell, you know, not talking. You ask them a question, they're just kind of like, like, you know, like they kind of just shake their head. They're not really like verbally talking to you. You know me, I'm the kind of guy that's gonna push people. And, I'm always gonna say, hey, come play volleyball with us. Like I'm gonna ask. Like I want people to participate, no matter what it is.
And especially in an environment like that, you're gonna push even more because you know everyone.
Look, it's all love. Like when I brought my ex there once, and they were a little worried. Like they were a little tense around a lot of new people, and they jumped right in. They loved it. Like that's what the power it has. But I just love, like, there was one girl this week, and she just she was a little quiet in the beginning, and all, like, as the week went on, she opened up, she started talking, she was finding you, like, and at the end, during Campfire, we executed perfectly Taylor Swift's Love Story.
Oh, I would have paid to see that. I hope someone recorded it.
Yeah, we got the video.
Hey.
And like she jumped in and joined and wanted to sing along. Like, yeah, it's fantastic. And like, even me, you'd never find me caught dead singing Love Story to Taylor Swift in front of 20, 30, 40 people. Okay,
yeah, maybe not in front of a crowd, but I for sure know you sing it.
Yeah, in the car, alone.
Did you not sing it at my wedding? I feel like everyone was singing to it at the wedding, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, no, I think I was pretty quiet. But like that's the thing. Like, like 6 of us, like Olivia, Maddie, Lily, Michaela, Sergio, Maya, we're all like, let's do this. And we did it. Like, and it's just, the vibe is so different there. Like, I don't know how to describe it. Actually, you know what? I do have a thing to describe it. And this is how I would feel, like, Krysta, if I brought you to this week. Like, this is, so if you watch, there's a new season of High School Musical, the series.
Do you know what's funny? I was going to watch that, but then I decided Camp Rock instead.
Fair. But if you watch the very first episode, it's summertime this year. High School Musical 2 vibes.
Oh, yeah.
And a couple of them go to a camp where one of them has been going, for years. And, they have all these traditions and everybody's singing along to all these things and doing all these things. I'm like, that's exactly how it would feel. Because, like I say, like, even after the campfire's done, we kind of circle up and do, and there's these Indralaya songs that we've all been singing for years. Feel like it'd be a little awkward to be singing when you don't know it. The circle is broken and unbroken. May the peace of Indralaya be ever in your heart. Like, it'd feel a little weird.
Yeah, but I might take me a few verses before I'm like, yeah, sure.
Yeah, exactly, right? Like you're hearing, like, all these people around you know word for word. And you're just kind of like,
Well, it's like in your blood at that moment, right? Like, it's like you could probably lose your memory, but you would still remember that song.
Probably. Like, probably, honestly.
Yeah. Well, like, for an example is, like, I never went to, like, a traditional summer camp. The closest thing I can think of is the one year I did Girl Guides.
Right.
But I can still sing the Girl Guide songs. I only went to one summer.
Yeah. It ingrains in your mind, right?
Yeah, there's something about the rhythm.
Yeah. There was one person, Ellen, who was new to the camp, and she brought this, like, old campfire song from, I think, Girl Guides, and I've had it stuck in my head all day. I don't know the first verse, but it always ends with you, like, patting your legs, like, in a horse kind of, like, galloping way.
Oh yeah.
And you're like, and it goes like, my banjo, my pony and me, yeehaw.
Okay, I don't know that one.
And I'm just dying, being like, the fuck.
Hey, but she shared that with everyone.
Oh, it was fantastic. And you get into it, right? And there was another one that somebody taught, and it was like, went the little green frog one day. And then it got really dark because they're like, honk, honk goes the big red truck one day. Curse flat goes the little green
that's
frog.
from Girl Guides.
I just died. I couldn't get through it. I was laughing every time. It was
You're
gorgeous.
like, wait, what happens next?
Yeah,
it gets worse?
The first time she said it, I was like, what?
Oh my god. So Nick, I have a question for you. Like,
please.
So, like, how did you start going to this camp? I assume because either your mom or your dad started going to begin with.
So, This camp started out in 1927 by... I probably should know the name, but I don't.
You've just failed.
But I believe it was my great-great-grandfather that went in 1928.
Wow, on your dad's side?
Yeah. So we've been going since that long.
So, like, almost 100 years.
Like, generations after generations. Yeah, we're coming up on the 100th anniversary. How crazy is that, eh? But, yeah, like, generations after generations. Like, I went that, then my grandma and grandpa came. My grandma is, like, super well-known there. Like, there was one year that a couple people hadn't been there for a while, but they went there as kids. And they know my last name.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, oh, is Marjorie your grandmother? I was like, yeah. And like, oh, did you know her? I'm like, well, she passed away when I was 6. So no, but yes. They're like, oh, she was an amazing woman. Like, she was like always in the kitchen. Like, I heard all these things about her. And I'm like, that's great to know. I'm glad. But like, she had like this mark, man. I don't know what it was, but she had this mark on this place. But yeah, my dad.
So magical.
Oh yeah, and then yeah, my dad's been going since he was a kid, and then we've been going, me and my sister, since we've been kids. And
have you ever asked your parents about like your mom's first time there, or how like your dad brought your mom? Like, did that come up when you brought one of your when you brought your ex-girlfriend?
No. My mom doesn't go. There are reasons she doesn't go.
Oh, juicy.
Yeah. I won't say them here, but
no, it's okay. It's like it's a week apart. She's probably thrilled.
Well, the handy thing was take care of the dog.
Yeah.
It always kind of worked. She didn't need the time off from work, so she could take care of the dog. You know, it's always worked. But there are reasons she doesn't go. So yeah, it's usually my dad, me, and my sister. Growing up, my sister brought a lot of her friends to the camp, and as I've grown older, I've learned that my dad necessarily didn't trust my friends. Which
You're like, excuse me?
Yeah, but honestly, like, it's something that I've kind of hidden under wraps for a long time. Not like necessarily intentionally, but like I say, I think it would be a lot to bring a friend into that. Because, you know, you try to stick to that person that brought you, like, you stick to that friend that you know, right?
Oh, yeah. I'd be on you like glue, Nick.
Right, but, you know, here I am talking with these people that I've known for however long, and we're talking about that thing that happened 5 summers ago, and you're just kind of sitting there being like, haha, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, you can't really contribute to the conversation. Like, it would be a little awkward. I'm not saying that you shouldn't come because of that, but I just feel like...
Yeah, because you'll make new memories, but...
Right, but I would feel awkward doing that.
Yeah, I think it's also hard, too, about, like, bringing up the topic, since, like, it has a spiritual background to it. People automatically, like, have presumptions to it, where they're like, it's a cult. Right? Yeah. Like, when I did The Pursuit of Excellence several years ago, right? Like, I was really nervous to tell people I did that, and I remember kind of mentioning it to you, and you were very open, and this is probably why, because you do something that's an equivalent for you.
Well, exactly. And I don't necessarily use those spiritual values. Like, a lot of them I do agree with. Not necessarily belief-wise, but just being a good person or being open to things, you know, like, that I subscribe to. But, I mean, for a lot of years for me, it was the family thing. Like I say, like, my dad has 2 brothers. One of them doesn't go, but the other one does. But I have cousins that are in America that I see every year, you know, like, it's crazy.
I don't even see my cousins on a yearly basis anymore.
Yeah, no, like, this is the place I'll see them.
Yeah, probably. It's the Torn family reunion.
It's almost. It almost is. And there was one year, she wasn't like my direct grandmother, but she was the grandmother of my dad's cousin.
Mm-hmm. Family.
Yeah, she was a Torn. And she passed away a few years ago. And she was also involved in camp. So they had a little service at that week. And my God, if you had confusion about the Taurans before, I have a picture of all of them. It's a lot of people.
Oh, that's nice.
But yeah, it's great. And like it's a place like I absolutely love. Like it is, like people have their second homes. That is my second home.
Yeah,
Like,
and it's a big deal to bring someone to it now.
well, that's the thing. Like especially like at my age, you start getting that significant others and stuff like that. And I'm not saying it's what's the word? Not requirement, but like what's like a deal breaker. It's not a deal breaker. But if you don't like that camp, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
or that you don't have like a cool arrangement like your mom and your dad where it's like you're cool with me leaving for a week and not messaging you or hearing from me and like knowing that I'm going to be hyped talking about this the whole week before and probably a month after.
Yeah, exactly. So that was a nice thing like about my ex. Like she loved it. She fit in really well. Anybody can fit in well. But she did a really good job.
Amazing.
And, yeah, it was great. It was great. It's fucking fantastic. I love that place to the bitter end, and it really is fun. But there's so many things you can do. Like I mentioned all those other ones, but like I say, there's mind coming up. There's like I said, yoga. There's the mindful self-compassion training, deep singing week. You have not sung until you've gone to deep singing week. There's the harvest work party. That's apple picking. You pick apples and you juice them.
Oh, that sounds so like fall.
That one is actually really fun. I've done it before. It's actually really fun.
So if you decide to do a different week next, do you usually let like your like closer friends that you expect to see there know? So that you guys can kind of like try to line up and maybe they want to do that week with you? Or do you just do it and you're like, I'll see them next year?
Definitely when I was younger, there were a couple people that we kind of lined up with to go, but they lived in the Seattle, Bellingham areas. But a lot of the people, like a lot of the family that I go to, like, so there's another family there's a bunch of like different families that go in there. Like there's a few big ones. But one of the families, they live in Ontario. So that's a trek. So they only do it once a year. Like that Olivia girl I mentioned, I hadn't seen her in a while. Well, she lives in Virginia.
Wow, people come from all over for this camp.
Oh, they can, for sure. I guess there'd be a couple that I'd be like, hey, you going to this one? Come on. But overall, like, no. But I am kind of getting to a point, like, where, like, if you've known me for a long time, like, there's a couple friends who have known me for, like, ever. They know where I go every summer.
Nick's going to camp. Bye.
Yeah, exactly. Like, they know where I'm going, but they know nothing about it. And it's not because I haven't explained it to them. I've had a hard time explaining it to them. Like, I still don't know. I just explained it to you, and I still don't know if you know anything. But, like, I'm totally open to like bringing people, you know what I mean? Like if you ever wanted to check this out, Krysta, like I say, that harvest work party, it's October 7th to October 10th. It's just a weekend.
I can't. I have a wedding this year.
Well, I'm
but
just saying.
Maybe next year.
I'm just saying that there are lots of things that you can go do. It's a fun time, and
no, I'd be so interested.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people are like get past, the theosophical side, if that's
what's holding you back, like just get past it. Like
but it's just like the views are insane, like God, I have like 2 pictures of me somewhere. The rest are just the landscape. It's a vibe. I love it. And thank you for putting up with me, I guess.
It will be one day that Nick's children will have to love until they're 18, and then they can decide if they love it themselves.
Well, that's the thing. Like, a lot of them, like, like we grew, like me and Michaela, we're older than 18 now, and we make a point to go back. There's a couple of people like Lily and Lucy were there, and they're like, yeah, they came on their own. They're 17. Like there's a lot of people that, when you grow up there and if you have good experiences, you're going to keep coming back. I intend on going there the rest of my life, whether people like it or not.
Yeah, you're
So,
gonna continue the tour in line.
oof. Oh my God, that this year there was like 8 babies there this year.
Oh my god.
It
Wow.
the new generation is here.
Wow. Yeah, COVID babies are real.
Yeah, there was at least 8 8 kids that were 2 and under.
Okay, so babies.
Yeah, there was a lot of that. But,
Oh my
no,
God.
it was really fun. I had a lot of fun.
Oh, well, Nick, I'm glad you're so rejuvenated.
I'm glad that you put up with me talking about it.
Hey, love it.
Maybe people will come to Indralaya. If you are a friend and have the access to talk to me, feel free. If there's one you want to go to and I don't even care about it, I'll go with you. Honestly.
Yeah,
And
just
if you're a
reach out.
listener, not friends with me, but you want more information, got you.
Yeah, we'll make sure to put a point on the actual name of this so people can look it up if they want to go.
It's going to be the episode title.
Hey, there we go.
Got it. Yep.
Okay, Nick, I think this leads us into questions of the week. Did I sound like a narwhal? That's what I was going for.
Little bit. You did have that narwhal vibe.
Nice.
Yep. Questions of the week you ask, we answer.
Okay, you ready, Nick?
I am.
What is the closest thing to magic in your opinion?
That camp, like
Oh.
no cap. But like literally, that's actually kind of funny. Closest thing to magic. Like in what sense?
I don't know. That's just what the Nick. I just read the questions.
Like I'm just thinking like there's magic. Like aha, I pulled this out of a hat. But I feel like they're talking about like
real,
legit.
yeah, real magic.
I don't know, man. Like honestly, it's that camp. Like the vibes you get. Like fairies exist, and that's why. That place is why I think they exist. Like I don't know, it can change you, man. I don't know. What are you? What's magic to you?
Okay, so besides being like cheesy and saying love.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So besides being cheesy and saying love, I think magic is kind of just like in the real world, the science that like we don't understand yet, but like in like a magical way.
Okay.
Like if that makes sense.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah, like
Fair enough.
there's my logical side and then there's my emotional side.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
Okay. Can I go on to the next segment?
You seem eager. Yes.
Recommendations of the week.
I don't know if you were excited about your recommendation or how you were going to say recommendations.
Honestly, it was a split-second decision on how I was going into that, so.
Okay, well, your recommendations of the week. We tell you to do things, see, watch, I don't know. Anything. Krysta, do you have one?
Yes. As you can tell, I was pretty excited. I'm recommending Lightyear, the movie on Disney Plus.
Okay.
So good. Had kind of some up vibes. Not to ruin it for you.
Okay.
But a good ode to the classics.
Okay.
And I don't know why, but for some reason, Buzz just kind of reminds me of my dad.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like one of those moments where it's just like, you know, when something reminds you of something, it's more nostalgic.
Fair enough.
Right? So that's my recommendation. Nick, if your recommendation is what I think it is, I may ask for a second one from you.
Okay, it's not that.
Okay.
But it came from that.
Oh, okay.
All right. So, and I said it. When we had them, I said, this is going to be a recommendation on the podcast because I promoted the shit out of this podcast all Campfire.
Hey!
Ask any of them.
Thank you for listening.
Promo the shit out of this. Okay, so one day, Lucy was like, I'm going to bake cookies. I'm like, that's a great idea. I like chocolate chip cookies. So I'm in line. There are cookies. There's ice cream. And I'm just sitting there like, oh, I'm going to grab cookies and ice cream. And then Aaliyah the genius of Aaliyah was like, why'd you take a cookie and 2 cookies and put ice cream in the middle and make an ice cream sandwich? I was like, what? Yes!
Nick, you've never done that before?
I didn't think about it, Krysta. I didn't think about it at the time. And when she said those words, I was like, yes, 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 yes. So, my recommendation, bake your own chocolate chip cookies. Don't buy store-bought ones.
Let them cool down, though.
Yes, you bake them yourself. Let them cool down. Then, take a cookie. Take vanilla or whatever your favorite ice cream is. I feel like vanilla actually works better with the chocolate chip cookies. You know, it's a good mix.
Yeah, like when you usually get chocolate chip cookie ice cream, it's usually with vanilla ice cream.
Yeah. Then you take another cookie, you stack it on top, and you have a bite. Oh my God, the way I described it, it was like if Jesus and Satan had a baby.
So basically magic.
It was beautiful. I loved it. Like, Aaliyah, shout out. If you're not listening, then I think this Michaela is going to be listening. Tell her it was an amazing idea. And that's my recommendation. Make your own cookies and have an ice cream sandwich with them.
And while watching Lightyear.
What a perfect Friday night.
I feel like we do this so often that we just recommend the best like weekend activities.
We do. Like, oh, we're fantastic people.
Oh yeah, definitely. I wish I could do that. I would need lactose-free ice cream and gluten-free cookies. So, you know, it's a little bit more work for the old Krysta, but I'll make it work.
There was gluten-free cookies there for you to take.
Did you take some for me?
Gluten-free is very prominent there, Krysta.
Oh my gosh.
And dairy-free? And dairy-free? Yes.
Wow.
We got you. Like, we actually got you. I kept saying to them, like, Krysta would love this place.
Yeah. I'd be fat after.
Yeah, it would be pretty perfect. Pretty darn perfect. Anyways.
Wow. That was great.
That was great. We'll be back at it again with more Discontinued Gravy next week.
Talk to you later.
Peace.